Okay, so if you could build a living security system, I mean, a private army that was always on alert, totally aggressive, and bound to you by uh, an unbreakable loyalty oath, what would you be willing to give up to get it?
It's a fascinating question. And today we're diving into the plant kingdom to look at an arrangement that feels less like a partnership and more like, well, a high-stakes corporate takeover.
We are talking about the Bullhorn Acacia, the
Yeah.
Vachellia cornigera, and its chemically controlled army of guards, the acacia ants.
Yep. Pseudomyrmex ferrugineus. And this isn't, just your standard you help me, I help you kind of deal. This is a co-evolutionary trap. It's brilliant, but it's also kind of diabolical.
It is. And when you first look at this plant, it's native to Central America, Mexico. It looks tough. It's covered in these massive, shiny, really intimidating thorns. You'd think that would be enough.
You would, and it's a great first line of defense for sure. But plants, they're stuck in one spot, right? So they have to get creative. They need layered security.
All right, like you have the obvious physical stuff, the acacia's giant spines. But then there's also subtle stuff, like some plants have these tiny fuzzy hairs, trichomes, that stop little bugs from even landing on the leaf.
Exactly. Or they'll use chemical warfare, making themselves taste awful or just straight up poisonous. But the bullhorn acacia, it decided the best defense was a mobile one. It outsourced its security.
And it built the perfect headquarters for them. Those thorns, the reason it's called the bullhorn acacia,
Yeah.
they're not just spikes. They're swollen and they're hollow.
They're basically prefabricated barracks just waiting for an ant colony to move in.
Cozy little homes.
Pretty much. And providing that shelter, that's the first step in the deal. We actually have a name for plants like this. They're called myrmecophytes.
Myrmecophytes.
Yeah, there are over 100 species that do this, provide food and shelter for ants. But this acacia and ant deal, it's probably the most extreme example out there.
So the plant gives them a home, and in return, the ants act as bodyguards. But this goes way beyond just chasing off a few caterpillars.
Oh, way beyond. Their job is... it's all-encompassing. They don't just attack any insect that lands on a leaf. They patrol the ground around the tree almost like sentries.
What are they looking for?
Competing plants. They will literally clear the soil of any seedling that might sprout up and steal sunlight or nutrients from their host. It's like they're landscapers and soldiers all in one.
And their aggression level is just off the charts. There's this one story from the island of Providencia in Colombia that just perfectly captures how brutal they are.
Ah, the black crab incident. Yes, so you have these large crabs that live in the forest, but they have to migrate to the sea to lay their eggs.
And their path sometimes takes them a little too close to a bullhorn acacia.
They don't stand a chance. The first crab that got too close was swarmed instantly. And the ants, they don't just bite anywhere. They went straight for the soft spots.
The eyes, the mouth, the joints in the legs.
All the vulnerable tissue. And you have to imagine it's not one or two bites, it's hundreds of stings all at once, injecting venom. The crab was killed just for walking past.
Hold on, if the ants are constantly mobilizing to kill something as big as a crab just for passing by, isn't that a huge waste of energy for the colony?
That is the perfect question, and it gets right to the heart of this. The stakes for them are incredibly high. Their entire survival depends on that one single tree.
If the plant dies, they die.
They starve, so there's no room for a lazy security guard. The cost of failure is extinction. And that's exactly why the acacia had to evolve a way to guarantee 100% loyalty all the time.
Okay, so this is the big question. How do you chemically force an entire colony into a lifetime of service? How does the plant stop them from just, moving to a tastier fig tree next door?
This is where it shifts from a nice little partnership to straight-up manipulation.
Yeah.
It's a gilded cage. It starts with a lure. The plant offers nectar and these special little food packets to get the ants to move into the thorns.
Food packets, because they need more than just sugar, right? Especially with all that aggressive patrolling.
Absolutely. They need protein, they need fats. And the acacia it grows these specialized little structures called bilchin bodies on the tips of its leaves.
Bilchin bodies.
Yeah, they're like little protein bars, rich in fats and nutrients. Super easy for the ants to harvest. It's a perfectly balanced diet made just for them.
So the plant provides the perfect home and the perfect food. Where's the catch? Where does the chemical lock-in happen?
It happens through digestive sabotage. It's brilliant. Once the colony is established and relying on this food, the tree starts secreting a very specific enzyme into that food supply.
An enzyme they eat with their meals.
Yes. And here's the diabolical part. Once they ingest it, that enzyme shuts down their own ability to produce something called invertase.
Invertase. And what does that do?
Invertase is the enzyme that ants, and most animals really, need to break down sucrose, common table sugar. It breaks it down into simpler sugars, glucose and fructose, that they can actually use for energy.
So let me get this straight. The plant is feeding them something that stops them from being able to digest sugar.
Not just any sugar, it stops them from digesting sucrose.
Yeah.
And here's the trap. Sucrose is the most common sugar in the nectar of almost every other plant in the forest.
Oh, wow.
The acacia's own nectar, of course, doesn't have that kind of sugar. So if the ants leave and try to drink from another flower, they get nothing. They can't process it. They would literally starve on a buffet.
They are chemically chained to that one plant. They have no choice but to eat its special food and its protein bodies. Defection means starvation. That's just stunningly effective.
It's an evolutionary masterstroke. Their entire universe shrinks down to the branches of that one bullhorn acacia. And that total dependency guarantees they will defend it with, zero regard for their own safety.
And this loyalty is so extreme. You mentioned they clear out competing plants. That includes
Their own kind, right?
the acacia's own seedlings.
It does. They will ruthlessly kill any bullhorn acacia sapling that sprouts too close to their host. They see it as a threat to their food source. The loyalty isn't to the species, it's to the individual plant that's currently drugging them.
It is an aggressive world to live in. And we should probably warn you, if you're ever in that part of the world, humans are not exempt from this contract.
Not at all. You brush up against one of these trees, you will be swarmed instantly. The bite is often compared to a bee sting, and you're not getting one, you're getting hundreds.
And yet, here's the irony. The very plant that causes all this pain, its bark and thorns, have actually been used in traditional medicine in Central America.
It's a crazy contradiction, isn't it? They've used it as a topical anti-inflammatory for things like snake bites, congestion, even asthma. There's this whole other side to its chemistry hidden behind that defense system.
So even with this seemingly perfect, chemically enforced fortress, nature always finds a loophole, right? Is there anything that can get past the ants?
There's always something. And in this case, a great example is the larva of the polyhymno moth.
A moth larva. How does a tiny caterpillar beat an entire army of hyper-aggressive ants?
By not fighting them. It uses stealth and engineering. The larva will silk together the acacia's leaflets, creating a little sealed pouch for itself.
So it hides inside the leaves themselves.
Exactly. It weaves a little cocoon, and the ants just patrol right over it. They can't detect it. They can't get inside. The larva is living in a completely secure, ant-defended fortress, rent-free.
And this isn't just a minor pest problem, is it?
No, if too many larvae infest the tree, they can eat so much of it that the bullhorn acacia actually dies. Which, of course, means the entire ant colony that depends on it dies too. The fate of the minion is tied to the fate of its manipulative master.
What an incredible deep dive. We started with a thorny tree, and we ended with a story about chemical warfare and digestive enslavement. It looks like mutualism on the surface, but underneath it's all about control.
It really shows you just how cutthroat life in the plant kingdom can be. This whole system works because the plant figured out how to turn the very act of providing food into the ultimate weapon of manipulation.
So here is our final thought for you to think about. When a partnership requires one side to chemically sabotage the other's ability to survive without them, at what point do we stop calling it mutualism and start calling it exploitation? If a plant can engineer loyalty this way, where else in nature, or even in our own world, does providing a vital resource become the ultimate form of control?